Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of one of the wildest WNBA Finals. One of the wildest WNBA Finals. We have seen close games basically throughout, right? We saw in game one where at the end of the game went to overtime. In overtime, close game, but ultimately the Minnesota Lynx ended up prevailing due to the late game heroics of Courtney Williams and Napheesa Collier. We saw Breanna Hamilton do her thing and pretty much dominate in game two. We saw in game three, we saw a extremely nail biter of a close game. Breanna Stewart played phenomenal. 30 points, 10 rebounds, did her thing, and ultimately the game came down to a last-second shot, what will go down as one of the biggest shots in WNBA Finals history. Sabrina Ionescu with the three from the half court gets it to go. The New York Liberty win. And then we move on to game four. Game four, this was a game where the New York Liberty, they kind of had it in the bag, right? They were winning the series 2-1, and they were ready to go. They were ready to win it in Minnesota. The trophy was in Minnesota. The trophy was in Minnesota. The stage was ready to be rolled out to honor the New York Liberty winning a championship, their first championship, right? But then, here comes the Minnesota Lynx. The Minnesota Lynx, while a team that has been counted out all season, a team that no one really expected, besides them, expected for them to even get here. The New York Liberty, everybody was thinking that the New York Liberty was going to make the finals. Nobody really had the Minnesota Lynx going into the season. And even for the finals, there was a lot of people saying Liberty in 3, Liberty in 4. Myself included, I believe I said Liberty in 4. But then, the Minnesota Lynx, they come out here and play a masterful team game. And they get the dub. Off the back of some fantastic late game play. Cecilia Zandalicini. She gets big buckets in this game, right? Bridget Carleton makes the game-winning free throws to ultimately win the game for the Minnesota Lynx. Guys, let's recap this game. Ultimately, Sabrina Ionescu had a chance to win with 2 seconds left to go. She had a chance to win. She misses a shot. We go to game 5. So final score 82 Minnesota Lynx, 80 New York Liberty. So that's kind of like an overview, setting the stage of how we got to where we got to. Now let's talk about game 4, guys. And before I really get into it, I really want to ask you a question. My question is, are you not entertained, guys? Are you not entertained by the spectacle that we saw today? The craziness that we saw today? The riveting basketball, guys. What a ball game. What a ball game. So let's sort of talk through it. We start the game off, and it's pretty even-handed, right? It's pretty even-handed in the first quarter. Initially, we see the Minnesota Lynx start to get going a little bit early. They score the first couple points, and then here comes the New York Liberty, right? And it's a back and forth battle. It's a back and forth battle where we're seeing players other than Napheesa Collier, players other than Breanna Stewart score buckets, right? Jonquel Jones gets going. Kayla McBride gets going. Breanna Hamilton, who had a fantastic game 2, she gets going. And ultimately, we end up at the end of the first quarter, we end up with a tied ball game. 23-23. And guys, there was a question mark of like, who in the world is going to edge out? Because it was a back and forth. The Minnesota Lynx score a couple points. Here comes the New York Liberty right back in that first quarter, I should say. Then we go to the second quarter. What do we see? We see a lot of paint points for the New York Liberty. We see 3-pointers by the New York Liberty. We see 2 3-pointers from the Liberty in that second quarter. In the second quarter, we see 1 3-pointer and just sort of a smattering of shots for the Minnesota Lynx. For the Minnesota Lynx, it was a very even-handed scoring. It was very even-handed scoring. We saw points in the paint. We saw short mid-range shots. We saw longer mid-range twos. We saw a 3-pointer, whereas for the New York Liberty in that second quarter, it was primarily just paint, 1 long 2, and 2 3-pointers in that second quarter. And after the second quarter was over, going into halftime, it wasn't like there was real separation, guys. It wasn't like there was. The Minnesota Lynx had a 1-point lead at the half. 1-point lead. 46-45. We saw Niara Sabally get in the game and make some stuff happen coming off the bench for the New York Liberty. We saw Bridget Carleton scoring and making stuff happen. Yes, Napheesa does get some points and whatnot, but overall, we see the Minnesota Lynx shooting efficiently in the first half, and we see the New York Liberty shooting inefficiently. But the score is staying relatively the same. Right? Basically tied. Just 1-point lead at halftime. All right. So again, the question was, what team is going to go on a run in the second half? The answer to that was no team. No team went on any substantial run for the entire course of this game. We go into the third quarter, guys. We go into the third quarter, and it's a question mark. Okay, what's going to happen? Who's going to do what? And we see the Minnesota Lynx make a intentional effort to get the ball down low and to get 3-point shots up. We start off the third quarter with Alana Smith, a player who has played hobbled basically the entire game today. Alana Smith, at one point in time, I was saying Alana Smith needs to be benched, right? I was saying that about Alana Smith because of the way that she was getting beat on defense. And then Alana Smith starts making stuff happen. Alana Smith ultimately finishes game with 12 points, 2 steals, and 7 rebounds. Alana Smith played 30 minutes in today's game with a bad back. Her back was hurting her the entire game. You could watch her facial expressions during this game. At times, she looked very suspect on defense. But then at other times, she hit big 3-point shots and got the scores that she needed to get. And we saw that in that second half. And I tell you, it's special to see. It is very, very special to see. In that third quarter, the Minnesota Lynx get 2 3-pointers. One from Alana Smith. The New York Liberty get 3 3-pointers. And it's again a back and forth battle. There were times where one team would go on like I believe at one point, the Minnesota Lynx went on a 6-0 run in that second half. And then right when I was like, oh, okay, Minnesota, you making some noise. Then here comes the Liberty. Here comes the Liberty making stops. Here comes the Liberty making stuff happen. And ultimately, guys, it wasn't the Stars that won this game. You know, we talk about the glamorous players that are like highlighted on everything, right? We talk about Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart and whatnot, and they are definitely the faces of these teams. But it was everybody else who showed up and showed out in today's game on both teams that ultimately made this game the thriller that it was, guys. I want to move your attention. I want to move your attention towards the end of the game, guys. As I said, this was a back and forth game throughout. It was basically tied throughout. There were several ties and lead changes throughout this entire game. Way more in this one game than in the entire series, guys. But I want to move your attention to the last, I would say the last minute of this game. Guys, with a minute and 10 left in this game, Jonquel Jones gets a great pass from Breanna Stewart and makes the layup. The score, and she makes the layup and she gets fouled. It was a fantastic bucket. Jonquel Jones, at some points in this game, we did see Napheesa Collier on Jonquel Jones for that particular play. Jonquel got the basketball. Napheesa Collier was just trying to do something. Ended up fouling Jonquel, and Jonquel made the bucket. Huge shot for Jonquel Jones. So Jonquel makes the shot. So 79-80. She got fouled on that. So she went to the free throw line, and Jonquel makes the free throw. Boom. Okay. It's 80-80. We see the Minnesota Lynx call a timeout. We see them execute a play. They fail. Kayla McBride misses the shot. Rebound goes to the New York Liberty. The New York Liberty get the basketball. Got 50 seconds left to go in the game. 50 seconds left to go. The basketball is with the New York Liberty. New York gets several attempts to win the game. Several attempts, guys. We see Jonquel go for a mid-range shot. She misses. Breanna Stewart gets the rebound. Breanna Stewart tries to tip it in. She misses. And those misses did not hit the rim. Breanna Stewart gets her own rebound. She goes for the jumper. Misses everything. Shot clock violation. The New York Liberty have the basketball for almost 30-something seconds, and they can't score. They have the basketball with 51 seconds left to go in the game. They miss several shots. The ball does not hit the rim, and ultimately, with 18.1 seconds left to go, they get a shot clock violation. Now, the ball is in the Minnesota Lynx court. The ball's in their court. They got 18 seconds. They got a timeout. They call a timeout. We see Cheryl Reeve do her magic, and it works something out. Okay? 18 seconds left. That means you don't have to worry about the shot clock. That means you can hold the ball for a last second opportunity for the Minnesota Lynx. It's all tied up. So it's either you score, you hold the ball and you score, you win the game, or you hold the ball, miss the shot, go to overtime. So all in all, it's okay. Like you're in a pretty good situation for the Minnesota Lynx. They have the basketball. They inbound the basketball. Courtney Williams dribble, dribble, dribble. She's just wasting out the clock. Then she starts to make a move. She goes for a long contested mid-range shot. She was a couple feet in, from actually probably a couple inches from the 3-point line. She was shooting over Leonie Fibich, and Leonie Fibich is 6'4", so very, very tall player that Courtney was shooting over. She misses the long mid-range jumper. And it's a scramble mode. She misses, it's scramble mode. Bridget Carleton sort of grabs the rebound and tries to throw it in. And she misses. But there was a foul call. Bridget Carleton was fouled on the shot. And she's fouled not on the arm, but down low, fouled by Sabrina Ionescu. So now, instead of the New York Liberty getting the basketball off of that rebound, Bridget Carleton gets it, goes for the putback, gets fouled. Now she's at the free throw line for 2. We got 2 seconds left in the game, and Bridget Carleton is at the line, and she can win the game. Yeah, Lil, it was a foul on a tip-in, though technically it was like a tip jumper, kind of. And Bridget Carleton calms down, breathes, and makes both of her free throws. She makes both. All right. We then see the New York Liberty call a timeout, and we listen in on Sandy Brondello's play. Sandy Brondello told her team, saying, hey, you're going to inbound the ball. They're going to foul you. And then on the next inbound, we're going to give it to Sabrina, and Sabrina is going to work. But the thing that they did not take into effect, the thing that they did not think about, was the fact that the Minnesota Lynx were not going to foul. The Minnesota Lynx had a foul to give. And so there was an assumption that they were going to foul. No foul. The Minnesota Lynx play stand-up defense. They play stand-up defense. No foul was called. Sabrina Ionescu ends up going for a long heave-ho shot. Misses. Game over. We go to game 5. So that's a overall synopsis about the game. Now I want to shout out some very particular players. Because guys, this game is not a victory for the Minnesota Lynx if it was not for, in particular, 2 players. All right. Kayla McBride had a phenomenal basketball game today. She finished the game with 19 points. She went 50% from the 3-point line. She had 4 assists. She hit big shots when her team needed it. Kayla McBride did her thing today. Absolutely, positively did her thing today. And not only was Kayla McBride cooking, but also, guys, Courtney Williams. Courtney Williams, the mid-range assassin, was fantastic. She was fantastic. When we talk about a player that wants to take the big shot, when we talk about a player that leaves it all out on the line, a player who played herself to exhaustion several times in today's game, where she was like, I need a sub, I need to get out, because I on offense and defense lay it all out there. She was phenomenal in today's game. 15 points for Courtney Williams, 7 assists. They don't win this game if it's not for Courtney Williams. They don't. Whether it's shooting at mid-range, whether that's facilitating for her team. Again, 7 assists for Courtney Williams. I thought she played spectacular. And guys, those two definitely were my MVPs of the game for sure. If I had to pick one, I would say my MVP is Courtney Williams. If I had to pick one MVP for this game, Napheesa Collier, she played fine, right? She wasn't as dominant, right? But she played a fine game. 14 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists for Napheesa Collier. But another player I need to shout out is Alana Smith. Alana Smith is a player who hurt herself again in game 3. She hurt herself. Hurt her back. Her back was killing her. She looked like she was crying in game 3 because of the pain in her back. She didn't look the best in certain portions of the game and whatnot. But when it mattered the most, Alana Smith grimaced it out and made the necessary plays. She made the necessary plays because she knew her team needed her. She knows her team needed her on that court. And so she gave it everything she had. She left it all out on the court. And guys, as a fan of the game of women's basketball, a fan of sports in general, like, you love moments like that where a player has all this adversity going against them, right? All this adversity. And she shows up at the big moments. And that's huge. That's huge for somebody who's dealing with a back injury. Guys, again, like, back injuries affect everything. It affects the way you run. It affects the way you jump. It affects your quickness. It even can affect your shot. It can affect just about everything. But Alana Smith goes 2 for 2 from the 3-point line, finishes with 12 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block in this game. Fantastic. I want to get to some of the super chats. Thank y'all so much for the super chats. Really do appreciate it. Also, I see a comment that Carmela thinks her clairvoyance is back because she said that Kayla McBride was going to be an X Factor. All right, Carmela. Oh man. Okay. Man. Eric, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, yo, the black jersey, the black jerseys represent. Yeah. The Minnesota Lynx wore their black today, and they did their thing. They absolutely did their thing. Thank you so much, Erica, for the super chat. Says, this series has stressed me out and neither one is my team. My mother is going to watch on Sunday. Good Lord, I am stressed. Best basketball series. This is what real basketball is. I'm so happy. I tell you, Erica, I have, I'm not stressed, but I have been like, heart has been like going crazy throughout these games because I just like, it's something about like the big bucket shots, the big stops that we have seen in these finals, just the craziness, like the last minute fouls. Like, I could not believe Bridget Carleton got fouled on that last play. I couldn't believe it. I thought the game was basically over. I thought we was about to go to overtime. But Bridget Carleton was like, you know what? Let me hustle. And try to get in a position where I can kind of catch that rebound and throw something up. Because who knows what will happen. And what happened is she won the game. So Bridget Carleton, 12 points in this game, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, including 2 huge free throws with 2 seconds left to go. She's another player who balled out and played well. 2 for 5 from the 3-point line, went 50% overall from the field. Yeah, this Minnesota Lynx team, they all play well, right? Napheesa Collier is fantastic. She is a player that can give you 30, but she didn't need to today. The rest of her team had her back. They had her back, and they stepped up. It wasn't just the starters. Yeah. Bridget Carleton won the game. Yes. Courtney Williams was the impact player that kind of kept them in throughout. Yes, same thing for Kayla McBride. Yes, Alana Smith overcame an injury to sort of finish out this game strong. And Napheesa Collier, didn't have the best game, but she did enough to help her team get the dub. But it wasn't just the starters, guys. It wasn't just the starters. It was the bench players too. Cecilia Zandalicini played some big minutes in today's game. Big minutes. And Zandalicini hadn't really played, not really, in these finals. When you look at the finals, this is she is a player who hasn't had a ton of minutes. But again, when it matters the most, Cecilia Zandalicini played 16 minutes today. 16 minutes, and they needed all 16 of her minutes. In game 1, she only played 10 minutes. In game 2, she only played 8. In game 3, she only played 8. She played double the amount of minutes, made an impact on both the offensive and defensive end, and made it happen for her team. 6 points added in for Cecilia Zandalicini. 4 rebounds. She gave big minutes, guys, in this game. Big minutes. Also, Dorka Uhas. Dorka Uhas is a player who I wasn't sure was going to play today. I wasn't sure. But they needed her height. Typically, we have seen Sheree go to the smaller, but I would say tougher Myisha Hines-Allen coming off the bench as a post player, right? But Sheree made the calculated decision today that she was not going to play Myisha Hines-Allen. Not because Myisha isn't great. Myisha is a great player. But it was because of the height factor that Dorka Uhas has to offer. And it was the confidence that she had in Dorka Uhas. The confidence she had for Dorka to come in the game and give great minutes, guys. Dorka Uhas plays a critical 10 minutes in this game. She has 2 points, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 rebound. But again, it's not all about the stats. She was able to come in the game for Alana Smith and give Alana Smith some well-deserved rest. Had Dorka Uhas come in the game and not been able to maintain, the New York Liberty win and the Minnesota Lynx lose. She came in the game, was able to maintain what was happening on the court. Not she didn't do fantastic on offense. But she she only shot 1 shot and she made it, so that was good. But what I'm saying is this is a New York Liberty team that is really good and a team that can exploit weaker defenders. And Dorka Uhas did exactly what she needed to do. She didn't go crazy on offense. She didn't go crazy on defense, but she sat down, slid her feet, played some defense. Yeah, you can get scored on every now and then, but at the same time, it all evened out. It all evened out, and it allowed Minnesota to still play balanced, and that's huge. Napheesa Heidemann has been really the go-to 6-man all year for the Minnesota Lynx. She come into this game and she only plays 11 minutes today. The reason why is because she hurt her thumb. She's a left-handed player. She hurt her right thumb on a play on defense. She went to the locker room before halftime. She ended up getting her hand all taped up. Came in the game in the second half, gave her team some good minutes when Courtney Williams needed a rest. Yeah, guys. This is a player who, yeah, she was hurting. Yeah, her thumb was hurting. but she came in that game and gritted it out and gave some good minutes. Even making 2 free throws after her injury. Yes, she's a left-handed player, so it didn't affect her shot, but still, there's a lot of grit to this team. A whole bunch of grit. And I saw somebody put it in the chat earlier. I want to find it. Here we go. Quintus said that Cheryl Reeve is certainly a chess player. She is. The way that Cheryl Reeve just, this piece right here. No, this piece right here. Okay. You come out, you come back, you come in. I know I haven't used you a lot in this WNBA playoffs, but I need you right now. You know, the way that Cheryl Reeve was playing chess in this game, it was phenomenal to watch. Like, I just, from a basketball perspective, you look at this game and you look at this little changes, little pieces. It's huge, guys. The decision to keep Alana Smith in the game, even after she was even after Jonquel Jones scored on her several times. That decision to do that, you end up calling a timeout, and the decision to keep Alana Smith in and not take her out for costing the team a couple points. You don't take her out. Then she does a screen, slip pass, makes the layup. Gets a great stop, I believe, on Breanna Stewart on defense. Comes back down, ends up getting a corner 3-point shot. And then get some more stops on defense. The thought process to know, okay, she can stay in longer. She can stay in longer. And then after she did that, okay, Alana, you did what you needed to do. Get out the game. Come in, Dorka Juhas, and let's maintain. And that's what happened. The thought process, the strategy. Guys, this is why I say that Cheryl Reeve is the best head coach in the WNBA. She is the best WNBA coach because of the way she uses, like, the way she tactically approaches the game. It's crazy. Like, the decision to play Dorka Juhas today, the decision to give Xanda Lassini significant minutes today. Like, that could have absolutely backfired, but it didn't. It didn't, though. It didn't. And once again, we're talking about the greatness of Cheryl Reeve, you know. Carmela says, Cheryl Reeves recognizes the difference on the overall spacing when Alana Smith is in. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But I don't want to just have it all be about the Minnesota Lynx. I do want to just shout out Jonquel Jones for the New York Liberty. Jonquel Jones had a phenomenal game, guys. I think that the New York Liberty should have went to Jonquel way more, especially in that second half. I felt like she was dominant when she got the basketball, and she was efficient too. And then she didn't get the ball as much as she should have. The ball was given to Breanna Stewart, and I get it. Breanna Stewart is the best player. I get it. But Jonquel had the hot hand all game. She had 21 points in this game, shot 70% from the field. 70%, including 4 of 5 from the 3. And you don't give her the ball as much. And I'm just like, what are you doing? I mean, it was great for the Minnesota Lynx. They benefited from it, but why, Sandy Brondello, why did you not run more stuff for Jonquel Jones? You ran some stuff for her, but you saw her score just pretty easily for most of the game. You saw her score pretty easily. And then you just go to someone else. I don't get it. I don't get it. For the New York Liberty, Jonquel Jones shoots the most efficient out of everybody, right? 70% from the field. 7 of 10 for Jonquel Jones. Breanna Stewart scores 11 points, gets 11 rebounds, so a double-double. But Breanna Stewart was 5 of 21 in today's game. 5 of 21. Jonquel Jones, 7 of 10. Leonie Feebich, who had a really good game, 7 of 12 in the game. Jonquel Jones, 7 of 10. Sabrina Ionescu, 5 of 15 in today's game. Jonquel Jones, 7 of 10. Sabrina adds 10 points, 5 assists. Leonie Feebich, 19 points, 5 assists. Benigilani Hamilton, 10 points. Three rebounds, 2 assists. Breanna Stewart, 11 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Jonquel Jones, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. Why didn't Jonquel Jones get the ball more, especially in that second half? I get it. Breanna Stewart's your best player. I get it. Understood. And your next best player, Sabrina Ionescu. Understood. I get it. So yes, they should be shooting a significant amount of shots, but you have to play with the hot hand. And the hot hand tonight was Jonquel Jones, number 1, and Leonie Feebich, number 2. Those were the hot hands. And instead of getting her way more involved, yes, she was involved in the game, but she should have been way more involved. Instead of making that happen, you don't. And we see the results. So I'm just saying. Shout out to Shani for becoming a channel member. Thank you so much. Or Shanae. I think it may be pronounced Shanae. I thank you so much for joining. Really do appreciate it. Really, really do appreciate it. But guys, that's my thoughts right there. Like, I thought Jonquel Jones had a really good game. I thought Leonie Feebich had a really good game. But you needed more. And the thing is, usually Jonquel Jones is in foul trouble. Usually. She had 2 fouls in today's game. So she was able to play as free as a bird. As free as a bird, okay? And you don't find her as much as you should. Though she did turn over the ball a couple times. So that's a thing. That is absolutely a thing. In terms of turnovers, the New York Liberty had 15 turnovers. The Minnesota Lynx had 12. So that is something to note for sure. Guys, that's the game. That's my little recap about what happened in today's game. Let me know what y'all think about it. Let me know. Yeah. Will says Feebich is the reason New York was in this one. Facts. Well, Feebich and Jonquel. Definitely, yes. I totally agree with that, Will. Shanae says Fee missing those shots she would normally make because she is working hard on both sides of the court with very little rest. Yeah. I mean, yes, absolutely. Yeah, she's she won Defensive Player of the Year for a reason. She is a player who plays both sides of the court. And yeah, she was tired. Yeah. Which is why basketball is a team sport. When your best player, has an off night offensively, you're a team. So everybody else steps up. And that is exactly what the Minnesota Lynx did. They all step up. And it becomes a collective win for the Minnesota Lynx. Again, player of the game, in my opinion, is Courtney Williams, who just continues to take her game and just let it shine. Like, she continues to do her thing. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the game. That's my recap about it. Thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all could, please make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are on our road to 30,000 subscribers. That is the goal. That is the goal I have. I don't know if we'll ever hit that, but that's the goal. So let people know about the channel. To subscribe, it's free. It is free to subscribe to the channel. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed so far. If you want to support the channel more, you can go on patreon.com/QuitaLoveSports and support me there on a monthly basis. Or if you want to do that on YouTube, you could become a channel member on YouTube as well. You just hit that join button right down below. Or you can just watch my videos and hit the like button. Whatever you want to do. Or you can just watch the videos and not hit the like button. Whatever you want to do, I appreciate it. Appreciate the support, guys. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Got a lot more videos planned for tomorrow, so hope y'all are ready for it. Guys, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And be kind to someone. Be respectful. Know that this is just entertainment. This is fun entertainment that ultimately, in the grand scheme of our lives, doesn't mean much of anything. Okay, unless you bet it on it and then you losing some money, or you making some money temporarily and then you losing it later. There is this is just fun. This is just a fun time. And so don't take it too seriously. I know some of y'all are bummed that your team lost. But you know, at the end of the day, it is the end of the day. So anyway, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Love y'all. But most importantly, remember that Jesus loves you and he wants a relationship with you. Guys, I will talk to y'all tomorrow. What a game. Game 5. Here we come on Sunday. And I'm doing a live stream, so make sure y'all check that out, okay? All right, I will talk to y'all soon. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.